At the end of this module, you are expected to first identify the monomers or subunits for every macromolecule. Second, determine the roles that each macromolecule plays in our body. And last, discuss the four biological molecules and their functions, classifications, and processes they undergo. Macromolecules are nutrients our body needs in large amount. Ito ay ang carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, at nucleic acid. Tinatawag din itong biological molecules or biomolecules. Sila ay mga polymers na nabuo by the formation between smaller molecules called monomers through covalent bonding. Four kinds of macromolecules are present in roughly the same proportions in all living things. Ang ating katawan ay binubuo ng tissues kung saan 70% nito ay tubig. Maliban sa living tissues, nagtataglay rin tayo ng macromolecules, ions, at smaller molecules. At sa apat na macromolecules, ang may pinakamataas na bahagi nito ay ang proteins, na sinundan ng nucleic acid, carbohydrates, at lipids naman ang panghuli. Before we discuss the carbohydrates, alamin muna natin kung paano nabubuo ang polymers. Ito ay through the process of polymerization, or a process through which a large number of monomer molecules react together to form a polymer. We have two processes na involved in the making and breaking of polymers. Una ay ang condensation reaction or dehydration synthesis, which is a chemical reaction in which two molecules react to form a larger molecule with a loss of water as a byproduct. For an example, if we combine two monosaccharides, it will form a more complex sugar called disaccharide, and in the process, nare-remove ang water as its byproduct. On the other hand, we have hydrolysis. Hydro means water and lysis means breakdown. Ibig sabihin, by adding water, a complex molecule or polymer will be broken down into simpler molecules or monomers. So tandaan, if yan ay from monomer to polymers, the hydration synthesis ang responsible process. And from polymer to a monomer, hydrolysis naman ang involved process. The macromolecules or polymers are made up of subunits called monomers. We do have the following macromolecules. We have the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. For carbohydrates, we have its monomer called monosaccharides, which was formed through the glycosidic bond. For lipids, we have the two subunits, fatty acids and glycerol, and they were bonded through ester linkages or ester bond. And for proteins, the monomers are called amino acids. These amino acids were formed into a protein through peptide or amide bond. Last, we have nucleic acids. We have the monomer, which is nucleotide, and they were formed or bonded by phosphodiester linkages. For this lesson, we'll be focusing on carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, it is formally known as saccharides. Saccharides means sugar. It has the following main functions: for storing and supplying the quick source of energy, for structural support, cell-to-cell recognition, and cellular signaling. It has this proportion elemental composition, such as carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And carbohydrates can be found predominantly in the cytoplasm of a cell. Carbohydrates has four major classifications. We have monosaccharides or one sugar molecule, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. For monosaccharides, we have different types, actually 3 types, such as glucose, fructose, and galactose. And these Monosaccharides are all isomers. Isomers are compounds with the same molecular formula but have different arrangement of atoms in the molecules and different properties, of course. For glucose, fructose, and galactose, its molecular formula is C6H12O6, or 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. Look at this picture. As you can see, they have the same molecular formula of C6H12O6, but the atomic arrangement is quite different from each other. The three types of monosaccharides have the following common names. For glucose, the common name is blood sugar or dextrose, and for fructose, we have the common name of levulose or fruit sugar, which is considered as the sweetest sugar. And the galactose, the common name is milk sugar or brain sugar. For disaccharides, or two sugar molecules, we have three examples or three main types. We have the sucrose, the lactose, and the maltose. The common name of sucrose is table sugar. It is actually a combination of glucose and fructose. For lactose, the common name will be milk sugar, and it is a combination of glucose and galactose. While maltose has a common name of malt or grain sugar, in which there are two glucose molecules combined. And just like the monosaccharides, there's three types of disaccharides, which are sucrose, lactose, and maltose, are also considered isomers. And they all have molecular formula of C12H22O11. We have just learned that condensation reaction or dehydration synthesis is the one responsible for forming a more complex molecule, or from monomers reacted with each other to form a polymer. Look at this. This is the stoichiometric formula, CH2ON, where N is the number of carbons in the molecule that represents carbohydrates. In other words, the ratio of carbon to hydrogen to oxygen is 1:2:1 in carbohydrate molecules. C6H12O6 is an empirical formula for the monosaccharide. If i-combine natin siya with another monosaccharide, ang mabubuo ay disaccharide. So, dapat the atomic ratio ay madodoble. Magiging C12H24O12 sana. Pero bakit kaya naging C12H22O11 na lang? Kasi nga, in dehydration synthesis, the water is removed or formed as byproduct. And water has a molecular formula of H2O. Kaya sa halip na C12H24O12 naging C12H22O11 na lang kasi 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom are taken out to form water. To form disaccharide from the combination or reaction of 2 monosaccharide molecules. Now let's give some examples of the third classification of carbohydrates, which is oligosaccharide, in which it has 2 to 10 sugar molecules. Oligosaccharides have the following examples. We have raffinose and stachyose. Raffinose is a composition of 1 galactose molecule, 1 glucose molecule, and fructose molecule. And the stachyose is a combination of raffinose and sucrose, or galactose, glucose, fructose, and sucrose. Lastly is the polysaccharides, in which there are 10 or more sugar molecules, and it has the following classifications or examples. We have the starch, glycogen, cellulose, chitin, and peptidoglycan. Starch is considered as the short-term energy stored in plants, and the energy stored in animals naman ay tinatawag nating glycogen. On the other hand, cellulose is a structural polysaccharide in plants, and this is the main component of cell wall. Chitin is also a structural polysaccharide found mostly in exoskeleton of insects, crustaceans, and cell walls of fungi. And last is the peptidoglycan, or a structural substance forming the bacterial cell walls. So if that sugar or polysaccharide is found in the cell wall of a plant, we call it cellulose. If that is found in the cell wall of a fungus, we call it chitin. And if that is found in the cell wall of a bacterium, we call it peptidoglycan. Okay, to test how much you've learned from this discussion, let's have some exercises. It is divided into two parts: multiple choice test and identification. 30 seconds will be allotted per question in the multiple choice test and 3 minutes for the identification. See the link below to know how well you score on this test. Good luck!